Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello everybody, welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom! This is a show where we wake with the Saturday morning sun, popped on the floor with big gold sugar cereal, and we'll tell your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And this morning, we watched Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Just two.
Yeah. He's got, he's going for quality and not quantity here.
Yeah, clearly, because one of his, I guess he has three friends, because one of them is a dog.
Yeah, he's got amazing friends. He just doesn't have an amazing amount of friends.
That's why he's trying to overqualify it with the word amazing before he says friends. He's like, oh man, I've got amazing friends. It's like, yeah, but how many? How many?
Spider-Man and the underwhelming amount of amazing friends. Poor Spider-Man.
That's the full title, also known as.
The full title.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys have just been hearing the shortened version, just, because it's easier that way.
It's just nostalgia that's making you hear the shortened version. Like, you've forgotten that it was actually his underwhelming amount of amazing friends.
Yeah, it's like when people say Ninja Turtles instead of the full thing, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Or TMNT, yeah. It's like, no, spell it out, say it all. So this was suggested by me because
yes.
I don't remember why, because it's been a long time. This is probably over a year ago I suggested this.
I think it's been longer than that, honestly. It's been at least 2 years.
Dang. Okay, yeah, well, that's why if you wouldn't have told me I suggested it, I would have forgotten. You could have credited this to anybody. But I had never seen it before, so I was curious to watch it, and man, I'm glad I did.
You hadn't even seen it, and you suggested it to put on the... Okay.
Well, I did it so that we would have to watch it eventually, because I knew no one else was going to bring this to the table, so I had to.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I'd say. So the show Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends aired from 81 to 83, the characters created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, developed by Stan Lee, produced by Marvel Productions, ran for 3 seasons, 24 episodes on NBC Network. For a short synopsis, written by our amazing friend Kenneth Chisholm, Spider-Man battles crime in New York City with the help of Iceman and Firestar.
Yeah. I mean, it's true.
Getting down to the basics.
Kenneth. You did it.
You did a serviceable job.
What was his model number? I forgot.
I don't know. He was some sort of Terminator, though, from the future, sent to possibly to assassinate us. I'm not sure yet.
It's true. I mean, he'll get there eventually. Maybe he's going to assassinate. Ooh, he's helping build our careers up so that one day he can just assassinate it.
So it'll be all the sweeter when he takes it from us.
It's true. We're on to you, Kenneth.
You're a sick man, Kenneth, or a sick algorithm, or whatever you are.
Sick algorithm, for sure.
Sick algorithm, bro.
That's a sick amount of ones and zeros.
So who are some of the actors who played in this show?
All right, so the main characters here, Peter Parkett.
Famous Spider-Man, Peter Parkett.
Peter Parkett.
Famous
he just
Spooder
dresses
Man.
as a spider and just gives out parking tickets. Peter Parker / Spider-Man was voiced by Dan Gilvezan, who's also the voice of Bumblebee from the original Transformers and a few of the video games, and also Quasar from Dino Riders.
Oh, nice.
You remember that guy? He was. I think he was shirtless the whole time. I don't remember. Was that the guy?
What was it? Questar?
Questar.
Yeah, he was the main character, or he was like the main hero guy. He wasn't shirtless. He was like the leader.
Okay, so he was the leader in Dino, the nice leader, not the bad guy leader.
Right.
So there we go.
Bad guy leader was actually Frank Welker.
Yeah. Who speaking of Frank Welker, so Bobby Drake / Iceman, voiced by Frank Welker, who he was in our last episode also, because he is known for everything, voicing Fred and Scooby-Doo, voicing Megatron from Transformers.
Voicing us on occasion.
Voicing us most of the time, yes. He's in everything. He's a Boo in frickin' the cartoon Aladdin. A Boo, man. He's a monkey. And he did awesome. And I hope he's probably not voicing a Boo in the new one. Let's just not even think about the new one. Angelica Jones / Firestar, voiced by Kathy Garver, And Aunt May, voiced by June Foray, who you have heard before. She was Rocky from Rocky and Bullwinkle, and also the voice of Granny from tons and tons and tons of different versions of Looney Tunes and subsequent Looney Tunes spin-offs like Tiny Toon Adventures or the Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries. You remember watching that. You won't admit it, but you watched it.
Yeah,
all of you watched it. So yeah, there's our cast.
So here's a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of Amazing Friends cereal. Originally, the Human Torch was going to be in the series with Spider-Man and Iceman, but licensing issues at the time prevented the use of the Human Torch, and so Firestar was created to fill the open spot. So she was literally created for this show in a very Harley Quinn-like fashion, and in the same way that she was actually brought into the comics and became a relatively popular character.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew she didn't exist in the comics before this show. However, I didn't know that the reason is because they couldn't use Johnny Storm. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's like they had always wanted it to be a fire and ice characters. And so it was going to be Human Torch, Spider-Man, and Iceman. But then because of those licensing issues, they just had to make up a new character, and Firestar was born.
Okay. Yeah, and she has she was fairly popular in the comics. I mean, I obviously wasn't around when she first entered the comics or when she did. I wasn't reading comics yet, but I mean, going forward, yeah, she shows up. I like when she shows up with the X-Men, which was kind of more recently, which has been nice.
Yeah, she's also like an official member of the Avengers now as well. So she's
cool.
Yeah, she's still around in some ways, but she was in a comic that was like a spinoff of this show. Well, not even a spinoff. It was like a comic that was made as like I don't know, to help push this show a little bit, I guess, back in 82 or 83, basically covering the first episode again, but in comic form.
Right.
And so that was her first foray into comics, but then she was brought officially into the Marvel Universe in 85, the year we were born. So she was born in comics the same year we were.
Oh, okay.
But also, this series was an attempt by NBC to replicate some of the success ABC enjoyed with Super Friends franchise.
Okay. I was wondering, but yeah, I see it.
Some of the sound effects used in the series originated from Universal Television's Battlestar Galactica and Buck Rogers in the 25th century. Adding Miss Lion as a pet, as a character, was another attempt to emulate the Super Friends, Wonder Dog, and the monkey Gleek.
Oh, yeah, Gleek.
Also, Wolverine's appearance in the show has him speak in an Australian accent, voiced by Neil Ross. Despite the character being from Canada in the comics, Wolverine also has an Australian accent, and again voiced by Ross in Pride of the X-Men in 89. And then in the live-action X-Men film series that began in 2000, ironically, the character Hugh Jackman is Australian, portraying Wolverine.
Right.
So it's
That's
full circle.
so weird.
Yeah.
So weird. He should have just used the accent and, done that. That would have been kind of funny.
Just leaned into it. Yeah.
Fans would have been so mad. So mad. I would have laughed.
Furious. Yeah. Have we watched Pride of the X-Men for this show yet?
We haven't, and I want to.
Oh, I want to so bad. I used to love that movie. I don't know how I'll feel about it now. Really? Okay.
I still think it's cool. I still like it.
In my mind, it's cool.
In my mind, it's great.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to translate to now me, but we'll see. We should watch it one day. We should bring it.
Oh, we will. We will.
So had you ever heard of this series before? I mean, I know it was like slightly before our time.
Oh, yeah. I watched it. I watched a little bit of it as a kid. I don't remember like why or when, but I just remember vaguely being little. I remember it being on TV and like at my grandma's house on that old giant kind of TV that was like in the wooden box and everything. And you had to turn the dials and stuff.
Well, back
when
it
was like one of those, man.
Were like monstrous.
Yeah, it was one of those old tube TVs. Yeah. But yeah, I watched it. I didn't remember too much of it other than like the general premise.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever seen this one in particular, but I did watch some of the original series, the one that preceded it. And what's interesting also, I guess, is that this is a direct spinoff of that, so much so that it even has like scenarios that are sort of spin-offs of that old series. So it's a direct follow-up to that. But I had never seen this one, so I was curious to watch it because in general, I just love team-up stuff. So this was a good chance for me to see how they dealt with it in the Spider-Man universe.
Yeah. I like the team-ups, honestly. I really do. And There's a few others on that list of the episodes that I was just kind of like, huh. I might just check and see where this goes.
Yeah, no, it was tough for me to choose the episode that I did choose, but you know why I did.
Yep. Oh, I know. I know.
I feel like you could have called it. So,
I knew that's what you were going to pick.
But let's go ahead and jump into the episodes we watched for today's show. The very first episode, highest rated episode, and finally a random listener chosen episode, in this case me. Order may vary depending on how the episodes fall chronologically, but of course at the start of the very first episode, which was Triumph of the Green Goblin, Season 1, Episode 1. So in this one, a plane crash turns Norman Osborn back into the Green Goblin, who plans to turn the entire city into goblins. Oh my God.
Okay.
What a weird premise. And let me say one thing before we get started here. So turning the city into goblins is actually a really cool scenario in the Superior Spider-Man franchise back when Doc Ock took over Spider-Man's body.
Yes.
There was a whole
there's a story arc.
Yeah, a story arc where Green Goblin was literally trying to turn other people into goblins and succeeded in some cases. So this is like...
That whole run was great.
My hope is that they got that from this. Like, this episode inspired them to make that.
Right. Let's do that idea, but way better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, this is the quintessential 70s style cartoon.
But it made in the 80s.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like it's from the 70s. It's got the same kind of, in that Hanna-Barbera style, you always hear the same music and the same sound effects. You will hear this music in Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? You will also hear this music in Transformers and some of the other shows of that ilk. But yeah, like they always use the same stuff because I guess their audio library was very limited. But it still gives me a little nostalgia anyway, hearing that stuff. I don't care that they reused it. It's kind of nice.
And it kind of makes sense that it does feel so 70s because what it was based off of or what it was trying to emulate was Super Friends. It was made in the 70s.
Yeah, exactly. So can we? I gotta get on this Norman Osborn thing. I like the idea that he's in this airplane. For one, he keeps, even like when he's Norman Osborn, right? And he has been released from whatever asylum he's been in. He's
rehabilitated.
He's rehabilitated. He's in this airplane. But even when he becomes Green Goblin again, it's like this same dude in another airplane is still like carting him around. I'm like, is this like Uber but for airplanes? Like who keeps picking this dude up from random places? Like I don't know. But I like that he's like, as soon as he's like, I'm cured, it gets struck by lightning immediately.
Yeah.
And crashes, and he just becomes it.
I feel bad for him because he didn't have real time to revel in the fact that he is now cured. He's ready to lead a normal life. He gets struck by lightning, or the plane does. They, jump out, they parachute down, and like the moment he touches the ground, it's like the Green Goblin just comes back out again.
He just comes back.
Man, poor guy. So it's vastly different, of course, from the Norman Osborn we know who is dressed like the Green Goblin, is just crazy, driven kind of mad by the serum. In this case, it's a completely split personality, and he's actually transforming werewolf style into the Green Goblin.
One thing that was kind of cool about this is they were all going to like a, I say they, I didn't introduce who those were. So this is Peter Parker, Bobby Drake, Angelica Jones, who we know as Spider-Man, Iceman, and now Firestar.
Also,
so the three of,
just real quick, Firestar also inspired looks-wise by Mary Jane.
Yeah, that makes sense, because before they introduced the characters, I was like, wait, is that Firestar? Is that supposed to be Mary Jane? Because she was hanging out with Peter and Bobby. So the three of them are like together all the time in costume and out of costume, apparently. Like they're all going to the same college, I guess. They're at like a costume party, and what I liked about it is this costume party was all like people dressed as Marvel characters.
Yeah.
And that was kind of neat. Somebody was dressed as, I think it was Angelica was dressed as Spider-Woman, which was cool.
Yeah.
Someone else that was with them was Medusa.
Yep.
I saw like a Hulk in the background. I thought it was funny. Bobby dressed up as Captain America. Peter dressed up as Spider-Man. He just wore his like suit, but wore like a fake, like a plastic mask instead of his actual mask. I was like, what? Okay. I mean, like I can't knock him for having fun, but like creativity.
Yeah, he could have tried a little harder, like Bobby
Yeah.
did better than he did in that way.
Right. He did. And he looked stunning as Captain America. I will give Bobby Drake kudos. He was great.
Is it just me, or were you thinking Fred Jones the whole time? Were you think
A little bit.
Every time
A little
Bobby
bit.
talked, were you like, okay, is Fred leading a secret life as Bobby Drake, who's leading a life as Iceman?
Yeah, it's just like the voice is only slightly different. There's like hardly any difference between the two. And I think the difference comes through not so much in the how the voice sounds, but in the way he says things, because Bobby's like a jokester and a prankster, and Fred,
Very serious.
yeah, at least back then was more serious. Doesn't
Right.
make jokes. Where this guy's cracking wise, and he's got a little bit more energy
Yeah.
and kind of ADD to him.
And I think Frank is just like, all his beautiful blonde boys sound the same. His pretty blonde voice.
But though, I like it. Like, I'm never gonna get tired of that voice.
No,
I don't think.
It was refreshing for me to hear that. It was almost comforting to hear, because I was like, I know it's Frank. And plus, we had just finished watching Scooby-Doo, so it was a voice that was already like resounding in my head pleasantly. So it was just nice to hear it.
Yeah, it is kind of weird that you said it feels comforting, because that's kind of what I thought too. I was like, oh yeah, I like this voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is some weird. There's some weird things in this. Some weird quotes. One of my favorite was Peter's Spidey sense starts going off, because Green Goblin he's showing up at that college, and we haven't seen him yet, but
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, that girl comes over and she's like, whatever turns you on turns me on. And he goes, I've got to go to the lab. I'm like, is that what we're calling it now? Oh, God.
Because he's like, something's turning my spider sense on.
Yeah. Like, yeah, next time, like, Rochelle and I are watching something on TV and it's a little racy, but she's not in the mood, I'm going to be like, I got to go to the lab.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I was
my
laughing
spider sense just got turned on.
hard.
I got to go to the lab.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Euphemisms.
Yes, I love it.
So the dog so just to set the
I
stage
hate
real
this
quick.
dog.
Me too. They live with Aunt May, and they have like a secret lab, like a tech lab inside of Aunt May's house, where like furniture turns over into other stuff. It's basically the Hall of Justice, but all centralized in Aunt May's house.
And Aunt May has no idea.
No,
somehow.
She's clueless to all of it, and she hates Spider-Man.
Yeah, that part's funny.
So she's the J. Jonah Jameson of this whole thing. So the dog was actually Angelica's dog, Firestar's dog, named Miss Lion, and it's just there as a side joke character. Serves no purpose. She's just at Aunt May's house. She doesn't go with them or anything. She just hangs out there. But it's just to have an animal in this.
And it was voiced by Frank Welker. Of
course.
And that's not a joke. It actually is.
No, yes.
God, I hate that dog. It's just, there's no point, man. It's just, and it wouldn't be as bad if the name wasn't completely stupid.
Yeah, Miss Lion.
Miss Lion. What a great name. Did you catch, Bobby Drake is a little bit of a douchebag in this, but I mean, he's young. He was kind of that in the Uncanny X-Men a little bit too. He was always messing around and kind of mucking things up a little bit.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit of that in this first episode. Some of the other episodes it's not as bad, or maybe I just got used to him, but did you catch when he pulled a link, where he goes,
yes, excuse
me. He just didn't do it. If he would have followed that up with the princess, I would have died. But
I know, yeah.
This came first, so they must have modeled that after.
I definitely was thinking that when I heard it. Yep.
Yeah, that was weird.
What was turning Peter on, his spider sense on, was so Green Goblin has come back to this ESU, the Eastern High Schools, or not Eastern High, Eastern State University is what it's called, has come back to this to retrieve his formula that he used to turn himself into a goblin, ostensibly so that he can turn everyone else into goblins, as we said in the synopsis. But he can't find it, and he doesn't know where it's hidden. But one person does, and it's his conveniently placed niece, who is, what was her name?
Was it Mona?
Mona Osborn, yes.
Yes.
Who also
you guys
happens to
remember
go to this
Mona
school.
Osborn from the comics, right?
Yeah. who, for whatever reason, would know where his formula was hidden. I don't know why her particularly, but,
Yeah.
Either way, she was just a made-up character for this. I almost wish that she had been turned into a goblin and then, like, had to be, like, put away or something so that we wouldn't
That would have been fun.
ever worry about her again. Because, like, it's not like she ever shows up again, to my knowledge. So it's like, why create this one-use character and make her related to the Green Goblin? It just seems like wasted potential.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense, but it's whatever. I feel like they kind of stumbled into this episode not really knowing what they wanted to do.
That's fair.
I mean, they did the other episodes they did much better. This one I just feel like they weren't sure how they wanted to go about this.
What
thing.
I loved was, so when Spider-Man comes in to try to help save Mona, so long story short, Mona tells him where the formula is, and then he he captures her so that he can use it on her. But I love it when he traps Spider-Man in that box that's just all Green Goblin faces after, like, he goes to the abandoned factory or whatever to find him. And it's like, man, he had time to set all this up specifically for the spot that he thought Spider-Man was going to be in. It's just like one of those things you don't think about, but when you do think about it, it's like the impossible odds that it would happen that way. But this box that he gets pushed into, they all have Green Goblin faces on them, all the walls, and they all do different things so that he can't hang onto the wall.
Yeah.
One of them is like a oil on the wall. The other one is like a heated wall, and then there's sleeping gas on one of the walls. And then all Spider-Man does to overcome it is just like jump off the walls and like web the little like spider cruncher thing, whatever Green Goblin called it, on the floor, and just broke it. And Green Goblin was so upset that he broke that thing. Like, that was a genius plan in his mind.
Yeah, I love that the way that Green Goblin ultimately gets defeated is like he defeats himself. Like, so when they finally like go after him and stuff, like he's on his glider, right?
Oh yes,
and like Iceman and Firestar are trying to go after him. Peter had stuck his web to the bottom of the glider, was on it, and Green Goblin's gonna, like, his plan is just to run Spider-Man into these power lines, and Spider-Man's just like, oh no, that's not good, and he just unlatches himself, and Green Goblin just doesn't pay attention and just slams into the power lines himself.
And it looks like he like explodes when he hits that
spider
wall.
Yeah, he just runs right into it. Basically, I think his glider explodes. He falls to the ground, and he's Norman Osborn again. I just like the idea that all that, and like they didn't even defeat him. They just got lucky because he basically knocked himself out.
Because he wasn't paying attention, yeah.
Yeah, because he was an idiot.
And then Osborn has no recollection of what happened or anything. But to bring the other characters in a little bit, so they all helped out. It was Spider-Man and his amazing friends. So Iceman, or, Bobby Drake was there doing freeze ray stuff.
I love your description.
I can't honestly remember what he did in this episode specifically, but
lots of ice slides.
A lot of ice slides. That's his thing. Firestar burns through liquid nitrogen, or like, okay, so there's this trap that he sets up where he uses a freeze ray on Spider-Man, like a paralyzing ray on him, sits him down in a chair or something, and then like puts him against the wall or puts him against this door so that Firestar Angelica hears him. And then as she's coming in, like, Green Goblin has this liquid nitrogen gun set up to blast them both. It's one of those like classic cartoon villains where they just like, you could easily just do this yourself right now. But instead, you set a trap and then leave and just assume it's going to work out.
Right, exactly. I love those where it's just like, you know what? If I wanted to be rid of Spider-Man, I could probably he's paralyzed. I could just kill him right now. Like, just shoot him.
Easily.
But
no
instead,
problem.
let's hook all these things up to wires, and then let's trick one of your friends into coming in, and then it just keeps going on and on. It's like,
it was funny.
On, man.
It was funny watching Spider-Man like trying to struggle to get out of the way of that liquid nitrogen.
Yeah,
because he was just
good.
like paralyzed, just kind of like scooting around.
The spider scoot.
I did like his spider sense, the way that they showed it in this, where his eyes start to glow. I thought that was pretty cool looking.
Yeah, that was a neat way to do it. Yeah, I'll give you that.
What I didn't, okay, I liked it, but not because it was good, was their saying. Like, The
good Lord.
The catchphrase
Yes.
of this show is Spider Friends, go for it. like go for it is the most unenthusiastic charge that I've ever heard, I think. It's not like let's do this or like Avengers Assemble or anything like that. It's just like
go for it.
Go for it, I guess. We got this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do that.
So every time they would say it, that would make me laugh. So it's like I don't like it, or it's not good, but I like it because it was funny.
Yeah, I did like that too, just because of how stupid it was. Yeah, I think maybe for me and you, it should be like cartoon boom, do that.
Yeah, not do the thing, just do that. Whatever that is.
Do that. I think that's our new thing.
Do that. Hashtag. We'll try to end the episode like that if we can remember.
There we go.
Yeah, and so that's the long and short of this episode. Pretty funny start. I feel like you're right in that I don't think they knew what they were doing when they went into it. They're just like, let's copy Super Friends. We'll figure it out as we go. Oh, we can't use Human Torch? Fine. Just insert this random Firestar
Here's a girl.
in here.
Give her the same powers. I don't care.
Which I'm glad they did use a girl, though, for some diversity to it.
Yeah,
It
they
made it more
needed
interesting
something.
of a dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next episode we watched for today's show was Along Came Spidey, Season 2, Episode 2. And this was the highest rated?
This is the highest rated. I mean, we know why.
Yeah. So in this one, though, Shocker injures Aunt May and Spider-Man recounts how he acquires his powers. For whatever reason, this is like Aunt May gets injured and then it's like Spider-Man just goes into reflection mode on how did I get here? Like what?
He's weighing all of his life choices.
Yeah.
He's like,
well,
oh,
he could really needs to be taking Aunt May to the hospital. He's just like thinking on it.
Yeah.
while
He's
she's
I
like,
don't know.
yeah.
He's like bleeding out in the corner. He's like, man, like
What brought me here? Yeah.
this is, What ultimately are we here for?
You know who I thought Shocker was, though? Okay, you're familiar with Shocker. Anybody who's listening is the guy in just like the yellow, like
In the worst costume ever that makes no sense. It's
who's been in the worst costume ever forever.
It's no theme whatsoever. Like you could have themed Shocker with like, something that shocks, like something like some sort of electricity theme or like
Instead,
a jellyfish.
He's like Master Vibrator. I think he literally calls himself that at some point in this show.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. When he was like somehow causing an earthquake on top of I don't know. Shocker upgraded somehow, and yet still is the worst villain ever.
He can vibrate out of any trap. That's what he says.
Oh yeah.
He's back with even more Vibroshock power. So he breaks out, and what I liked was, like, at the beginning, they show this billboard that says, "Who is Spider-Man?" by Stan Lee in the Daily Bugle. So I guess in this world, they're proposing that Stan Lee is like a writer or something, a reporter for the Daily Bugle, and I thought that was a neat nod to him.
Yeah, that is really cool. I liked that a lot. It was kind of like a Ben Ulrich sort of thing, I guess, but they're using Stan Lee instead.
Shocker's broken out, and then in the weirdest way, I guess he just had his gloves with him or made them in prison or something. I don't know. And there's this helicopter guy, probably the same guy that we were watching last episode, just
He's
came
back
and picked
again.
him up.
It's the Uber driver.
Yeah, the villain Uber driver. And then he comes into the city and starts like vibrating through stuff. I'm gonna say vibrate a lot in this episode, so just
I love
be ready
it. He
for that.
just comes to the city, starts vibrating all over the place. All the guys are angry. All the women are happy.
They're loving it. Except Aunt May, because she gets knocked out by some rubble.
She got vibrated too hard and then had to go to the
God.
hospital.
Well, actually, like, the heroes, the Spider Friends, as they call themselves, they are with Aunt May, like, just hanging out, I guess. And then
they were shopping
Shocker appears. They're shopping. And then they have to, like, make up individual lies to get away from her, like, to leave Aunt May. Spider-Man, like, went to look for some spiders in a pet store or something.
Yeah, because you remember all those spiders in the pet stores.
Right.
So every time I went to a pet store, it was just nothing but spiders, man.
So after Aunt May gets knocked out, though, that's when Peter starts telling his origin story, because he's like, basically like, people keep getting hurt or something, but then it's like, well, how did I get to this point? As Aunt May's bleeding out in his arms.
Yes. Oh, God. Her life alert's going off and nobody's coming.
He tells the long version of it, too. Like, it's a 20-minute episode all really about him telling the story.
All of a sudden, he's just like, I was an orphan.
Yeah. It all started when what?
Yeah.
So he tells that, bitten by spider. It's the same story you've heard, but what I liked about it at one point was when he first discovers he has spider powers, there's this guy driving a car towards him, and this guy is wearing a Hawaiian shirt with a tie. And I thought that was the most interesting way to dress. I think it was like a short sleeve Hawaiian shirt, but he had a white tie on.
Oh,
and I was
that dude's woke.
What is with this guy? Yeah.
He is ahead of the game. I bet you anything, if you go on Pinterest right now, you'll find a bunch of modern pictures of that.
Yeah.
I think he knows what he's good. He knows what he's doing.
He was a hipster before it was cool. So he was like the ultimate hipster.
Yeah, we did get the whole origin story. Like Flash Thompson was in it, and God, like Flash is just he just picks up women constantly. Like he doesn't even have to ask girls out. They're just like everywhere he goes.
Flash like has an entourage with him at all times.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I love when he just like he insults Peter in front of two girls who laugh at him. And then like Peter still keeps trying to ask the girls out and they're like, no.
And then Flash comes by and they just immediately walk over to him.
Yeah. And I like when he drives the car past Peter later and it's like Flash driving this convertible and there's like 4 girls in there. And then Peter's like, does anyone want to go to the science exhibit?
Yeah.
Oh, God. He's socially awkward or something.
Super socially awkward. And he's also voiced by Frank Welker.
Yep.
Then we get the story with Crusher Hogan, who Peter first like wrestles against to get that $100. And he doesn't just like wrestle against him. Like he goes all freaking out. He's not trying to hide it at all.
It wasn't Bonesaw? What happened to
Bonesaw? Yeah.
Bonesaw's ready.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you for 5 minutes of playtime.
God, that was the worst.
He beats him so easily. R.I.P. Randy Savage. He beats him so easily, and then they're like trying to like sponsor him for some just TV shows and whatever. And I don't know. I don't feel like this was part of the original story with all of this publicity he was getting. Because he was like on a talk show or something.
Yeah, they were just like, I'm a TV producer. You should be on my show. So then he's like all of a sudden he's like a celebrity on television before he's a superhero as Spider-Man. So I don't know.
They extended this story a little bit and maybe just to make sense of why he would have so much money that he's able to build this lab in Aunt May's. I don't know. But so then we have the whole Uncle Ben getting killed by the burglar thing. They don't ever say killed, but they insinuate it in a way that I thought was really clever because it gets the point across without being offensive or anything for kids or without being like too much for a kid to handle.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to call this guy Joe Chill, just like the guy who killed Batman's parents.
Yeah, Joe Chill. He's pretty chill.
I mean, that's literally the guy's name who killed Batman's parents. And so this guy has no name. He's just burglars. I'm just going to assume it's the same person. And what he's doing is going from universe to universe and creating superheroes by killing parents and or guardians, so that they can rise above it.
What if it's one of those cases where Joe Chill, who has no chill, what if like he knew that the world would need these heroes?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, he's got to go into each universe and assassinate a loved one because otherwise we don't get a Spider-Man or Batman.
Right, it's for the greater good. Like he's saving the universe. Joe Chill has done the right thing.
So yeah, we go through the whole rigmarole. We get the, of course, with great power comes great responsibility line there. Shocker starts an earthquake somehow with his hands.
Well, no, he's going to start an earthquake.
Yeah.
If Spider-Man doesn't surrender to him.
That's true.
That's all he wants. He's just like, I will turn New York City into Disaster City, USA if Spider-Man doesn't surrender himself to me.
So instead of surrendering, they defeat him. Like,
yeah. Well, there's like 2 minutes left in the episode by the time it gets back to Shocker. So
yeah,
it's like, you know what? I guess like I give credits to them because Shocker is such a bad villain. They knew he couldn't like extend a whole episode. So like, God, what can we fit in this episode? Oh, I know. Let's just retell Spider-Man's origin story.
Yeah.
And then have the Shocker as just bookends to it. And
otherwise it's going to be real short.
Yeah. Otherwise
it's
it's going to be like,
the Shocker's out. Like thwip. Oh, he's done.
Oh, what a shocker. We got him.
Oh, buzzing.
And then they're just like hanging out, sipping lattes for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. What I liked was at the end of this when Peter was just like, Spidey's back for good. And I'm like, what? He never went away. Like, Firestar even says he was never away. And I'm like, yeah, he wasn't away.
It's been like 10 minutes, Peter. You were never gone.
Yeah, he never gave up or anything. He just went on this tangent about, oh, we've been friends a long time, but I guess I never told you anything about my life. So here you go.
Because all they do to defeat the Shocker, and it's like, I'm surprised that it took them this long. For whatever reason, Peter needed to have the realization that, oh, Shocker doesn't have superpowers. He's just using the equipment that he's wearing. Didn't you put him in jail to begin with?
Yeah.
So wouldn't you have known that already?
You'd think so. But, he was lost in thought, Joseph.
That's true. He was retelling his origin story. He got distracted.
He had a rough day with Aunt May dying because he would not get her any medical attention.
Because he felt that was a perfect time to tell an origin story.
Yeah.
Yeah, so day was saved. Spider-Man's back for good. What I loved at the end of this episode, and I don't know if you noticed it, but when Aunt May said that, she saw that that Spider-Man saved the day on the news, so she's like, maybe he's not so bad after all. And then it does this weird thing at the very, very end where it starts zooming in on her face and playing this really sinister music. And you almost expect, I want you to rewatch the end of that episode.
Okay.
And then, just so you're with me here, so that it's zooming in on her face really slowly after, Peter says something to her and Peter's behind her. And then her face is just a dead stare into nothingness, into the void. And it's you're almost expecting her to start a sinister, laughing in a sinister fashion or something.
Right.
Because the music playing while it's zooming in on her face is so inappropriately placed. It made no sense why it was like that. And it went on for such a long time that I didn't know what to think. And I wanted to bring it up here so that you could rewatch it and get back to me on what your thoughts were.
Yeah, I got to rewatch that. Maybe she's turning into the Green Goblin because as we know, getting knocked in and out of consciousness will trigger the Green Goblin.
That's all it takes. It's not even, you don't have to have any kind of chemicals in you at all. It's just getting knocked out and coming back.
I like the idea though of that it's just and I'm going to go a little dark here. She's just maybe Spider-Man's not so bad after all. And then she's just thinking about she's doing a little reflection of herself and she's like, God, is life even worth living now? She just died inside a little bit.
Oh, no. I know what happened. She, in her head, we don't get to see it because, no one cares. But in her head, she was retelling her origin story. And that's why she had just had that blank stare
She's
going on.
thinking about the Great Depression. Back in my day, we had to eat mud pies from our dirt floor.
But please watch what seems like the last 10 minutes of that episode as it's fading out and zooming in on her face.
Okay.
No, it's only 30 seconds, but those are the most poignant 30 seconds of that episode for me because it stuck with me because I'm like, why?
We need
why
to
did
get a
that
GIF of that
happen?
or something.
No, yes,
we'll figure it out.
absolutely. So anyway, the last episode of today's show was The Bride of Dracula! ! The Bride of Dracula! Season 3, episode 2, which was my choice because, monsters.
Yeah. And you got way more than you bargained for, too. You got way more monsters than you were supposed to get.
Even better. And this is this just goes into the whole, I like guest stars, I like cameos. This gave me just a great monster fix.
Yeah.
In this one, Firestar is kidnapped by Dracula. Spider-Man and Iceman go to Transylvania to rescue her, fighting both Wolfman and the Frankenstein monster.
And they do it within an hour, somehow.
Oh, yeah, that's so weird. Time-wise, none of this makes sense.
Nope.
But I did have a question. It's a very important one, and I hope that you know the answer to this. So, the monsters' names, I know Count Dracula was Count Dracula.
Yes.
So, the Wolfman's name was Wolf Thing. They couldn't, maybe they didn't have the rights to Wolfman, whatever.
Okay, well, here's the thing. The first time he's addressed, Dracula calls him Bruno.
Yes. Okay.
And then after that point, he is always referred to as Wolf Thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nondescript gender, just
but
Wolf
yeah, maybe
Thing.
it's a case of because when he first calls him Bruno, he's in the limo because the werewolf is his limo driver. Oh God. And he's probably got that little card on the back of the seat that says, "Hi, my name's Bruno." I'll be taking care of you. And it has the list of rules, like the do's and don'ts of the limo.
Right. He's a Lyft driver. Yeah.
But once they get out, he's like, crap, I don't remember this guy's name. Wolf thing. You do that thing. Yeah, he doesn't know.
Wolf thing, do your thing.
Do your thing, Wolf thing.
That just takes me back to the stupid Thing cartoon we watched, where it was like, thing, ring, do your thing.
Oh, God. Let's not.
So,
God, that was awful.
So maybe the Spider Friends Go For It wasn't the worst charge, or wasn't the worst like battle cry that we've heard. I think that one might have been.
I think you're correct.
Anyway, so, okay, the main question I had.
Yes.
The Frankenstein monster, was he called Frankenstein? Because I thought that I heard him say Tankenstein because he's a robot.
No, you're right. I think he did say Tankenstein. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he did say that.
That's why I was confirming, because I still might be wrong, but I think that I heard that. And so that's what it was in my head the whole time.
Yeah, I think you're right, which is weird.
I tried to look it up on IMDb and stuff, but all it just says is like
listed.
Frankenstein's monster. So I'm just not sure. I can't confirm, but I also won't deny it.
Can't
it might
confirm or
have been
deny.
Tankenstein.
No.
And if so, Tankenstein is an awesome name and needs to be our band name or something.
Oh, God, that is the best band name. Holy crap. Okay, we are now Tankenstein. We're changing the name of everything we do to Tankenstein.
Yeah, it's no longer Cartoon Boom. It's Saturday morning Tankenstein.
Tankenstein.
Oh, that's so metal. So what I like that. So they're at like a school dance. It's like prom or something. And
they're at school dances like every
they're always at school dances.
episode. Yeah.
Well, I say prom, but they're in college, so I don't know. So Peter and Bobby are fighting over who gets to dance with Angelica, and I'm just like, dang, like, are they really? What kind of relationship is this? That's what I want to know.
I know they all live together, so
Yep. It's interesting. But what's funny is the second that Peter and Bobby start arguing, she's already dancing with another dude who ends up being
good for her. I
Dracula.
say,
yeah. Oh,
good for her.
She knows what she wants and she's ready to get it. So like, and then he escorts her outside, and Bobby and Peter are like, "Oh, we better follow." What was weird was he goes from talking like this, like all charming, like Dracula. And then as soon as his like fangs come out, he goes from talking like this to it's like, what? That was a real quick jump. And he never does that laugh again. He never does anything like that again in the episode.
That charm went away real fast.
Yeah. Except for Angelica, who is still charmed. Because it's Dracula. She's under a trance. He's like, step into my Uber cab. And
he mesmerizes her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meet my Uber driver, Broom Wolf Thing.
Yeah, take us to the airport. Yeah, so they immediately go to the airport. Peter and Bobby are like, "Oh, it's not good. So, should we do this?"
Not good. Yeah. Well, I guess let's go for it.
Yeah,
let's go save her.
I don't know if they knew she was really in trouble or if they were just jealous. I think it
was jealousy at first for sure, because they're like, she looks completely normal.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Why would she not dance with us? They take off in the airplane. Bobby and Peter change into Iceman and Spider-Man, and they like hop onto another plane, like on the actual, like they're hanging out on the top of the airplane that's following this plane to Transylvania. And oh my God, freaking Spider-Man at one point says something to Iceman, I think because they well, he like jumps off the plane to try to land on Dracula's plane, and he goes, "Hold on to your ice cubes, buddy." And I'm like, what is that supposed to be his balls?
And it's like, what are you insinuating, Spider-Man? What are ice cubes in your mind?
I'm just surprised that they did it. He's totally, that was great.
That was pretty funny. I like when they first got up on the plane, and like Spider-Man, he's in spandex, so he is freezing, and like he's like, oh, it's got to be like negative 20 degrees, and Iceman is just up on the plane chilling when it zooms over to him, like literally chilling, literally and figuratively. He's just laying back against the tail fin, like,
he's like,
it's 40. Actually negative 40. Who cares? Because he's ice all the time, so it doesn't matter.
And it's been colder here where I live than up there on that freaking airplane. Makes no sense. Makes no sense.
You're not even on Earth anymore. Like, you're in some weird frozen dimension.
I'm living up on Pluto. Is what I'm doing. I'm preparing for Space Force. I'm gonna join. I'm gonna pilot a Gundam once Space Force begins. That's my goal. I did want to say one thing. What I love is when Spider-Man gets on the plane, he's on the wing, he's looking through the window, kind of like that Goblin from Twilight Zone. And like, and Dracula just pokes his head up in the window. And like, they're obviously looking right at each other. And Spider-Man's like, something's trying to take control of my brain. And I'm like, maybe it's the freaking vampire looking right at you, right in front of your dang face.
Oh yeah, and it's he's looking at it, and then like he sees Dracula like staring at him, and even like talking to him or whatever. And yeah, I guess Dracula just commands him to like jump off the plane. Something's taking control of my brain, and then he just dives off.
Right. I'm not convinced that Iceman was named incorrectly. I think he should have been Slide Man. Or Slide Boy, something like that.
That's all he did this whole episode.
That's all he ever does is just he makes slides out of ice for people. If not himself, then for everyone else.
The amazing Slide Boy.
I love it.
Go for it.
Do that. So they end up in Transylvania at the castle. There's a metal Frankenstein monster robot, which is fun.
Who seems to have feelings too. I don't know.
His feelings are he doesn't like new people. He doesn't like when Dracula brings home the new girls because he's just like, God, they're gonna get their stuff everywhere. Like no one's gonna clean up. Just
She's gonna be in the bathroom all the time.
Yeah,
I won't have time for.
He's not gonna have time to go to the lab.
Yeah. Other people live here, ma'am.
Yeah, he just gets annoyed with it. Yeah. Honestly, that's it. He just basically keeps saying that like strangers are bad. Like he just doesn't want anyone else to be there. He's like, I thought we were bros.
And it's like he's not a resurrected zombie Frankenstein. He's not like previously human. He's just a robot. That's what they say. And hey, how'd you feel about when they were flying in with the plane, when Bruno or Wolf thing was flying with the plane? He's like, we're coming in too fast. And then Dracula just turns it into like a giant bat plane. And he's like,
that was
fine.
weird.
We're fine.
I didn't get that at all. We're fine.
It wasn't even like a cool looking bat. It was like the goofiest, derpiest looking bat plane that you could have imagined.
It's like it was the shocker of airplanes is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty stupid. So Iceman makes a lot of ice puns. We get a whole bunch of random
slides.
Stan Lee narration out of nowhere, which
that's one thing I wanted to
love hearing
mention.
his voice, but it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention was, so the Stan Lee narration wasn't added until the second season, but then they went back and started adding it to the first season stuff. But
weird.
Most of the narration just in general are lost with time because they only aired on TV and were never like released with the DVD box sets or anything.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, if you ever heard the Stan Lee narration portions of it, consider yourself lucky because no one else has.
Oh, what's weird is there's another narrator too. So I don't know. Maybe they fired that guy and then brought Stan Lee to do it, which makes more sense.
Be.
But whatever.
Yeah.
So then they're trying to get Angelica to remember who she is. She becomes Firestar, and then she's fighting against Iceman and Spider-Man. Spider-Man's just like, come on. And he just starts talking about college to try to jar her memory. And then he's like, May?
He's like, the important people in your life? College? Like, it's like, no, don't tell me that. I'm going to want to stay
go back
under
to school. No.
Yeah, I want to stay mesmerized. Thank you.
Yeah. And then like she, eventually, of course, she comes back to her senses. She looks like she kills Dracula at first. Because she creates some like artificial sunlight and he just kind of falls to the ground and looks like he died. And then like weirdly when that happened, the Frankenstein robot falls apart. Wolf thing turns into an old butler, which was really strange. And then there was a pit of alligators that were shown at one time. It's like, okay, so I get when it's like, okay, the big bad's defeated, things go like back to normal. Fine. The butler was a werewolf. The robot falls apart. The alligators turn back into salamanders. What?
So
what the hell?
So this world is proposing that that Dracula has just like made these alligators an illusion out of like giant salamanders or something. Or not even giant salamanders, just regular sized salamanders.
Yeah, that made no sense.
Like, But it's like, why wouldn't he just like get real alligators? Like they exist. You could go and capture them.
Exactly.
So
he picked up these salamanders. He's like, oh, I have a great idea for some feisty new monsters.
Look how scary these salamanders look now. Ooh.
Someone else is just like, Bruno's like whispering to Tankenstein, like, don't tell him those already exist. He didn't invent anything new.
Yeah. Ooh, now they're like scary big salamanders.
Ooh, I'll have to patent these scary salamanders.
Scaramanders, I will call them.
Scaramanders. Holy God, that's awesome.
It's like everything else, like you said, was I was tracking with it. It was fine. It was like, okay, so he was holding Tankenstein together, fine. He was keeping Wolf Thing or Bruno in that trance that kept him transformed, fine. But the salamanders made no sense, and I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah. Oh God, I loved it. That was my favorite part of the entire show, to be honest.
Yeah,
it was great.
All the rest of it, fine, acceptable, but this was the best.
That was the best. Then so Dracula pulls a Green Goblin, where I guess the vampire part of him again is just a split personality. And he's like, I don't remember anything. How do I get here? And then everything's fine.
Why are there so many salamanders in the pit?
What happened to these? Where are these salamanders from? They got that of their aquarium. So yeah, that was weird. So all of these things happen, right? They find out that she's being taken. They get to the airport. They go all the way to Transylvania. All of this takes place. They go all the way back to where they came from, and they arrive back at the dance before it's over, and they get the chance to dance again. What?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. I was like, how is this the same dance? They literally traveled around the world.
Yeah.
And back, and still somehow, is this just like a 48-hour dance?
Maybe it was just another dance.
Maybe that's what I was saying.
They
like,
have so many dances.
Like every day is a dance at this place. So
yeah,
who knows? That was weird. Know. But then like Angelica tries to dance with another guy, and they're just like, nope, and they just go and pick her up and take her away from him.
Right? Oh my God, that guy used to be a salamander.
Yeah, he's a Scaramander. Yeah, the Scaramanders have evolved. Yeah,
I love it.
Well, Chris, looks like it's about time we send our inner kids off to become part of the Spider Friends crew, so they too can go for it. Then see what they thought of Spider-Man and his amazing friends.
This cartoon was kind of cheesy, but it was still really fun since you have Spider-Man and Iceman, plus my new girlfriend Firestar. At least she will be my new girlfriend once I become a vampire and steal her away from the other two. Wait, do adults have three-person relationships? I have so many questions. But I still gave this cartoon 3.5 bowls of Scaramander cereal out of 5.
Although this show seems a bit dated, I still found it really charming. There was a good mixture of silliness with serious moments, in that even when things got a little heavy, there was still a nice kid-friendly sense of lightheartedness about it. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, but the real star of this show was the crossovers. I haven't seen all the episodes yet, but I know Captain America, Doctor Strange, and a bunch of the X-Men all show up at some point, as well as a bunch of cool Marvel villains. As we saw in the last episode, horror icons Count Dracula, the Wolfman, and Frankenstein's monster all showed up too, so it's like this show was made just for me. If I'd been alive back then, that is. Overall, I'd give Spider-Man and his amazing friends 4 big bowls of wall-crawling webhead cereal out of 5, and now I want to be a Spider-Friend too, since you don't have to be a spider or even have spider powers to qualify.
That is true. Like, they call themselves Spider Friends, but only one of them has spider-like abilities, and I don't understand that. That would be like if I was friends with like I don't know, like you. Like, you know, I'm friends with you. You're Hispanic, so I would be Hispanic friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that work, or is that racist? I don't know.
That's what I was wondering at the whole time too. It's like, why are they the Spider Friends? Like, why can't they just be amazing friends? It just was one of those things where it's like they're really pushing the Spider-Man part of it.
Yeah.
It's like if I were friends with like a bunch of Scaramanders and they just called us like the Scaramanders. But it's like, but, you know, I'm not. So can we just be like the Scaramanders and Joe, or like Joe and the Scaramanders? They're like, no, we're the Scaramanders.
Oh, my God. Joseph, Tankenstein and the Scaramanders.
Oh, that is
There's
the most
the name.
metal band name that I've ever heard.
Yes. Oh my God. We have,
Tankenstein and the Scaramanders. Wow, that's awesome. I got chills saying that.
yeah. I need to go to the lab.
Yeah. I'll be back. I'm going to the lab real quick.
Oh God. Well, do you have any other comments on this show before we wrap up?
I just want to say, like, even though it is real dated and it's got silliness to it, and it's like there's even like inappropriate stuff where it's like one of the villains tells Angelica to go to the kitchen and cook him something.
Oh.
It's like, wow, that's some like dated humor or dated insults. But
Oh yeah.
regardless, like, it has its charm to it for its time. Look at it, even though it's in the 80s, look at it as a 70s cartoon because that's what it feels more like. And the cameos is what's going to keep me coming back for more. I want to see all these episodes with the X-Men, with Doctor Strange, with Captain America, etc. But this was a kind of a soft pilot into the X-Men pilot, part of the X-Men, so it's directly connected with that. So overall, yeah, just a real fun show. Don't expect anything amazing from it, but I think it's worth a watch for sure.
Yeah, it's cheesy, it's goofy, but it is charming. I think a lot of the charm comes from the voice actors, and the characters really show through and make it enjoyable. Other than that, it's just like how ridiculous and silly things get. But even with all that, it's not the kind of silly where you just get annoyed with it. It's the kind of silly where you can watch it and just have a good time, not taking it seriously. So I didn't think I would go back and watch more, but I am interested in seeing that X-Men episode, especially knowing now that kind of leads into Pride of the X-Men. It's definitely something I want to check out. So yeah, I would recommend if you're a fan of those style cartoons like we talked about, that 70s style Hanna-Barbera-esque kind of superhero cartoon like Super Friends and all those things, definitely give it a shot. And especially if you're a friend of, classic Marvel stuff, I think you would like this.
And one thing I did want to say was that picture I sent you yesterday, and I don't know how much of this is in like the various episodes, but there was a guy in the Spider-Man Origin episode where he's wearing a Battle of the Planets t-shirt, like literally that same symbol of the bird symbol. And then there's another guy in the audience, the same audience when Spider-Man's wrestling Crusher Hogan, that it looks exactly like Joe or Jason from Battle of the Planets wearing that same number 2 jersey. It's just a slightly different color. And I had to send you that because it's a real fast scene, but I don't know how much of this is kind of filled with that, or I don't know if it's just like reused animation or what, but I really dug it.
Yeah. 100% in the same boat.
So thanks, me, for suggesting this, apparently.
Yeah, thanks, you.
It was a fun watch.
Yeah, great job.
Welcome. Well, listeners, it looks like a milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And next week, we'll be watching
Ugly Americans, suggested via Twitter by Toshin Ranma. He strikes again with something from the bottom of the list.
All right, well, I know the name of the show, but I've never seen it, so...
Yeah, same here. I think it was an Adult Swim thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I feel like it came on around the time of like Lucy, Daughter of the Devil or something like that.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I do remember that.
Anyway, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure that out.
But once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll see you next Saturday.
Do that!
Oh, yes, you did it. Yes, you brought it back. Nice.
Presented by Nerdsloth.
A place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.